his marriage, only to discover that Steffy has found comfort somewhere else. Even if there has been no official betrayal, the emotional reality could be devastating. Finn may ask Steffy for another chance, expecting her to focus on their history together. But Steffy may instead be thinking about how she felt when she was alone. And that difference could determine the future of their marriage. One of the strongest themes in this episode is the difference between loyalty and emotional security. Finn wants Steffy to believe in his loyalty. Steffy wants to know whether she can feel safe. Those are not necessarily the same thing. Finn can honestly say that he loves her. He can insist that Sheila does not matter more than their marriage. He can promise to establish boundaries. But Steffy needs more than promises. She needs evidence that the cycle can actually end. That is why her reaction to Finn's return becomes so important. If she immediately embraces him, the story could suggest that their love remains stronger than the crisis. But if she hesitates, the hesitation itself becomes a statement. It tells Finn that something inside Steffy has changed. And Carter may be part of that change. Taylor's questioning also creates an intriguing dramatic irony. The audience understands that Steffy has developed an unexpected emotional connection with Carter, while Taylor is trying to understand her daughter's marriage without knowing the entire story. That creates the possibility of a major future reveal. What happens when Taylor eventually learns about Carter? What happens when Finn learns? And perhaps even more importantly, what happens when Steffy herself has to choose between the familiarity of her marriage and the emotional comfort she found somewhere unexpected? These questions make the August 18th episode feel less like a conclusion and more like the beginning of another major storyline. The Sheila problem may have triggered the crisis, but Sheila is no longer the only threat to Steffy and Finn's marriage. The real threat may now be the emotional distance that Sheila's presence created between them. Finn came home believing that the solution was to repair what had been broken. But relationships do not always return to their original shape after a major emotional crisis. Sometimes the people involved change. Steffy has changed. Finn has changed. And Carter has entered the equation at precisely the wrong moment. That makes reconciliation uncertain. There is also an important question about Steffy's wedding ring. Her decision to remove it carries symbolic power because she is communicating something without having to say it directly. The ring represents commitment, identity, history, and the promise of a future. Taking it off suggests that she is no longer certain that the future she once imagined is still the future she wants. Taylor sees the missing ring and immediately recognizes that something serious has happened. But she may initially assume that the entire issue is Finn and Sheila. She may not realize that another man has become emotionally significant to her daughter. That revelation, whenever it comes, could completely change Taylor's attitude. Taylor could sympathize with Steffy's pain while still questioning whether Carter is the right person for her. She could also worry that Steffy is making a permanent decision during a temporary emotional crisis. That would be a very believable concern. Steffy is vulnerable. Carter is vulnerable. And vulnerable people can form intense connections very quickly. But that does not automatically mean the connection is meaningless. Sometimes difficult circumstances reveal feelings that were already waiting beneath the surface. The writers can take this story in several directions. Steffy could ultimately decide that Finn deserves another chance and slowly rebuild their marriage. Carter could step away because he realizes that Steffy is still emotionally committed to Finn. Or the Carter-Steffy connection could become strong enough to permanently alter the romantic landscape. The most dramatic possibility is that Finn's attempt to save his marriage actually accelerates the discovery of Steffy's feelings for Carter. Finn may think he is coming home to reclaim his wife. Instead, he may be coming home to discover that the emotional battlefield has already changed. And that is why the August 18th episode is so significant. It is not simply about whether Finn and Steffy reunite. It is about whether their relationship can survive the accumulated damage of fear, mistrust, trauma, and emotional distance. Finn is ready to fight for his marriage. Taylor is ready to question her daughter. Steffy is caught between the life she knows and the emotional refuge she unexpectedly discovered. And Carter may be closer to the center of the story than anyone realizes. The biggest danger for Finn may not be Sheila anymore. It may be the possibility that Steffy has discovered she can live without him. That realization would be devastating for Finn because it would mean that apologies and promises are no longer enough. He would have to convince Steffy not only that he loves her, but that their marriage can give her the emotional security she needs. For Steffy, the decision will require honesty. She cannot remain indefinitely between Finn and Carter without eventually hurting both men and herself. Eventually, she will have to determine whether Carter is simply a source of comfort during a painful chapter or whether he represents something deeper. And Taylor's questions may force that realization sooner than Steffy expects. The August 18th episode therefore creates a fascinating emotional crossroads. Finn comes home hoping to rebuild his marriage. Taylor searches for answers about her daughter's broken heart. Carter quietly becomes more important to Steffy's emotional world. And Steffy herself must confront the possibility that the crisis in Monaco changed more than just her trust in Finn. It may have changed what she wants from love. That is the real heart of this storyline. Finn wants his marriage back. Taylor wants her daughter to be okay. Carter wants emotional connection after his own heartbreak. And Steffy wants to feel safe, understood, and certain about the person standing beside her. Those desires may not be compatible. As the fallout continues, every conversation becomes more dangerous because one honest confession could destroy the fragile possibility of reconciliation. Finn's return may bring hope, but it also brings pressure. Taylor's interrogation may offer Steffy a chance to speak, but it could also expose secrets she is not ready to reveal. And Carter's presence may turn an emotional friendship into something that neither he nor Steffy can easily control. Ultimately, the August 18th episode leaves the bold and the beautiful with one enormous question. Can Finn and Steffy rebuild their marriage before the emotional connection between Steffy and Carter becomes impossible to ignore? For now, Finn is fighting for another chance. Steffy is fighting to understand herself. Taylor is searching for the truth. And Carter is standing dangerously close to a relationship that could change everything. The Monaco fallout is far from over. In fact, it may have only opened the door to an even more complicated romantic battle in Los Angeles. And if Finn discovers just how emotionally close Steffy and Carter have become, the next confrontation could be far more explosive than anything that happened in Monaco.